Welcome to another unboxing video, or rather an unbagging video from theplayersaid.com. My name is Grant. This morning I'm unboxing one of the entries in the Pocket Battles series from SNAFU Designs. The game is called Berestechko 1651. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. The Fate of the Zaporozhian Cossacks. And this was one of the largest land battles in medieval Eastern Europe in the 17th century. So pretty cool looking little, I don't want to use the word mini game because it's a fairly good sized game, but it's just in a mini package. The designer, and I'm going to butcher your name, Christoph, but it's Christoph Ditzak. He is the designer from Poland. And this SNAFU small or pocket battle series has been pretty fun. I've played, what was that game called? Now I'm drawing a blank. But a game in the War of 1812. And it was very fun. It was a solo or two-player, and I think this one's just a two-player game, so more of a traditional war game. But as you can see, the game comes in this mini bag, and it is a small bag, which is a good thing, right? I've got a ton of big box and other larger games on my shelf. But what they do here is they kind of maximize their space. Every surface used here on these cards, for instance, this is the cover, and on the back you can see there's the Polish player aid sheet. There are a couple tracks there, as well as counter holding boxes there at the top. Looks really good. The art and layout is, I think, very clean. Looks very nice, but they maximize all that space. So once again, here's the back cover that you would see on the back side of the bag. It gives a description of the game, as well as the designer. The art is by Edward Alteriba. And then development is Mark Figueres, Oscar Oliver, and Yvonne Pratt. And those are guys with SNAFU specifically, I believe. Two-player game, low complexity, 1 hour. And then you can see they use kind of NATO symbols for the different units. That would be a cavalry unit. You will also need for the game 6-siders, 8-siders, and 10-sided dice, but those are not provided. But they do maximize, once again, that I keep getting distracted. But you can see the back cover is also the player aid for one of the players. So you have both player aids serving as a front cover and a back cover. Once again, the Tartar morale track, reorganization track, and coordination track, as well as their holding counter holding boxes. So those are right there. And I think that's cool. Maximizing space, kind of making a small game. But just because it's a small game doesn't mean it's not a good game, or that it doesn't have a lot of depth or interest to it. Here is the rule book. Pretty simple little rule book. It is 15 pages. And you can see the example of play takes up basically the last 2 pages. There are a couple of pictures showing movement and attack. But 15 pages of rules. Here's a look at all the different counters. We'll look at those here in just a moment. Setup, the sequence of play, how commands and activations work, movement, combat, pretty standard war game stuff, fire combat, morale, and then how to win the game. So there's the rule book. Pretty simple. Here is the counter sheet. It's a very small counter sheet. This is the back. You can see here are the fronts. Really nice looking, simple units. They have die face symbols there on the front, which describe probably the die results that they need. Kind of cool. Couple of order markers here: reorganization, coordination, and then there's a morale marker. And these looks like supply trains. But you can see each side only has, the top there's about 20 counters, and then the bottom there's about 20 counters. So yeah, nice looking counters. They are dual-sided. They just have reduced sides on the back. You can see the white banner that really identifies them on their reduced side, although these do not have them, the cavalry on the bottom. Pretty interesting. Nor do the units on the top. Not sure what that references or means. But simple little counters. They look like they're actually, you might want to do a craft knife. I'm going to go ahead and try to pop one off. Actually, they popped off fairly easy. You can see you're going to have to clip or trim them up. But yeah, nice looking, simple counters. They do the job, and I think look pretty good. So let's move that player aid, which we already looked at. Basically, an 8.5 by 11 sheet is the game board itself. I'm going to give that a fold in the center just to get it to lie down. You can see there are hexes there. They are numbered, fairly clearly numbered. Those numbers stand out fairly well. And I like the partial hexes. I think that's a nice look. It doesn't necessarily dominate the board, but gives the feel and an understanding where you were supposed to move your units. There's some trees here in the south. I'm going to call it the south. I don't see a cardinal direction arrow, but some trees here. Here you can see where you retreat. The Polish and Lithuanians retreat towards this river, and the Cossacks and Tartars retreat to the right of the board. Like the river, how it goes around here, really nicely presented. And then here is the village city of Berestechko. There's a bridge over the river. And these appear to be fortified hexes with some type of ramparts or fortifications, but improvements built there. There is also a town at the top, Pliashiva, and you can see these are marsh or swamp tiles, and these represent the encampment of the Polish and Lithuanian units. Yeah, pretty nice looking board, simple, clear, and concise, and that's going to make for a fairly simple and interesting game. I really do like, also, there's a combat reference sheet in the middle that I didn't show you, and a reference sheet that talks about movement, the victory conditions. Pretty simple victory conditions if you look here. Eliminate any 4 enemy units. Victory at game end, the player with the most VP, and then here's the ways that you get VPs, from controlling various hexes, eliminating units, disorganizing units, and then ending the game with Tartar withdrawal. Game ends at the end of turn 2, so if it ends early, it's going to be +1 VP. But yeah, really nice little play aids. I think they're going to help play the game. And it really looks very good, too. I think it looks really nice. Good production value. I've played a couple of SNAFU's games, and they do really a good job with their production. So there you have it, Berestechko 1651. I hope I pronounced the names at least passingly skillfully. Probably didn't do very well. Hopefully I didn't offend anyone too much. But there you have it, SNAFU Battles, or Pocket Battles Volume 2 from SNAFU Design. Very much looking forward to giving this one a go. This is one of those games also that I can probably do solo if we don't get around to playing it. Probably going to play in 30 to 45 minutes. It said an hour on the back, but those are always a bit of overestimation. So anyway, thanks for watching. I've been Grant for the Player's Aid.